Welcome to the Klamath Falls Gems pregame show, presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis and Fitness Club, Henry's Roofing and Supply, Herald and News, Holiday Jewelry, Klamath Eye Center, the Oregon State Lottery, Quail Park of Klamath Falls, Rogue Credit Union, Rust Spires and Pulley LLP, Taco Bell, Super 8, and United Finance. And now, here's your host, Nick Winstead.
Hello and welcome to Alameda, California. The Klamath Falls Gems on the road for their first game of the season. I'm Nick Winstead, bringing you Gems action all season long right here on Gems Radio. It's a game of first for the Gems, their first game as a member of the Golden State Collegiate Baseball League. Of course, this is not a league game. They're playing against the Alameda Emergents, starting off with a non-conference game, and it's a game of first for the Gems. A brand new coaching staff, Alex Alvarado Sr. taking things over at the helm for the Gems. He's assisted by Aaron Johnson. A dynamic duo have worked together a long time up in Salem. They seem to work in sync very well. These two guys having a lot of fun out on the field, but when it comes to baseball, very serious about the results that they put out for the team, and the Gems expect good results out of this team, and so do Alvarado Sr. and Johnson. They've got a good roster here in their estimation. They've been able to do recruiting. They've got a brand new team because of it, a new look Gems. These guys coming from all across the country, varying levels of schools. Their first road trip of the year down here in Alameda.
Wes Carswell.
And Wes Carswell leading things off for the Gems. Larry Coart hitting the two-hole in the on-deck circle as Carswell's the second baseman for the Gems. Steps into the right-handed batter's box, digging in for the first time on the year. He'll be facing up against number 15, Blaze Hastings. The motion and the pitch swung on and missed. First pitch strike. First pitch at 5:54 p.m. Getting things rolling a little bit early here in Alameda for the Merchants. The 0-1 pitch from Blaze Hastings up and out of play from Carswell. An 0-2 count now on the second baseman, Carswell. The Gems in their black tops, white pants. Gems across the uniform numbers, bottom left-hand side. The motion from Hastings. The pitch. High. Ball one on Wes Carswell, wearing number 14 this year with the Gems as he continues to dig in. Hastings waiting, the glove up in front of his face. And that will be strike three. Down goes Wes Carswell.
Now batting, number 1, Harry Corwart.
Now Larry Coart, the shortstop for the Gems, coming to the plate. He's hitting on the left-handed side of the box. Hastings begins his motion. First pitch high and outside, ball one. Coart returning back to the Bay Area, actually played a little bit of junior college ball at Contra Costa before he transferred to Alcorn State down in Louisiana. The motion from Hastings. Big looping pitch misses way upstairs. Pitch didn't break till much too late. Henderson doing the catching today had to come up out of the squad to catch that one. It's a 2-0 count now. Coart at the plate. One out in the top of the first. The pitch. Low and outside, ball three. So after the strikeout, down 3-0 in the count is Blaze Hastings getting the start here. For the Merchants, they've got blue tops, yellow lettering. And the 3-0 pitch will run inside, ball four, a 4-pitch walk to follow up the strikeout, and there's a runner on board for the first time this year for the Gems. That'll bring up Nelson Santiago, the first baseman for the Gems. He's followed up by Alex Thompson in the designated hitter spot, Kyle Barrett, Justin Cooney-Silk, Ray Soderman, Alex Alvarado Jr., Zach Lewandowski to round out the Gems lineup. Coart takes his lead at first base. And bouncing in the pitch, but being blocked nicely by Corey Henderson is Hastings, ball one. In the field for the Merchants, it's Ryan Myers at first base, Alex Felder at second base, Dakota Connors at shortstop, Marcus Williams at third base. Peeking and firing outside with the fastball, 2-0 the count. That's 6 straight balls now for Blaze Hastings after the leadoff strikeout of Wes Carswell. Santiago also hitting on the left side. And a pitcher's strike on the outside half breaks up the run of balls fired in by Hastings. In the outfield for the Merchants, it's Xavier Freeman in left field, Austin Johnson in center field, and Drew Mount in right. And missing outside is Hastings. 3-1 the count now on Santiago, who's just waiting for a strike. Got a lot of power in the limited time we've seen him. Gems have been together as a team for just about 3 days. A couple of rounds of BP. We've seen a power from Santiago. Swing tapped into the glove. Strike 2. Now up to a full count for Nelson Santiago, the first baseman, as Lower Cohart takes his lead at first base after he was issued the 4-pitch walk. Hastings sets below the belt, fires. And strike 3 looking, getting rung up is Nelson Santiago on the fastball. Second strikeout of the inning for Hastings. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Alex Thompson, sporting number 31 on the year. He'll hit from the right side. Thompson looks down at third base coach and assistant head coach Aaron Johnson before stepping in. Hastings working from the stretch, fires big breaking ball, strike 1, dropping it in on Thompson. Thompson hitting from the back end of that right-handed batter's box. Peeking over first is Hastings. The pitch will hit Thompson in the front leg. That's another free pass issued by Hastings. Both men on base coming via free passes. Cohart the 4-pitch walk, and now Thompson, first hit batsman of the game. That puts 2 runners on for Kyle Barrett, the left fielder. Hastings with the ball behind his back, waiting for Barrett to step in. He had been in the box. Now he steps out and will step back in. Cohart takes his lead along with Thompson. Kick and fire. Big swing coming up empty. Strike 1 is Barrett. Beautiful day down here in the Bay Area. Blue skies all around. Vastly different from the weather we left in Klamath Falls. The kick and fire, 0-1. Breaking ball called strike 2. Big dropped in on the outside half against Barrett. He's now down 0-2 here in the top of the first. A scoreless ball game. The Gems threatening with 2 runners on, 2 outs. First game of the season. Hastings sets, kicks, and fires. And this one is up into the air in right field. Mount running back, and he makes the grab. Out number 3, and the Gems strand 2 in the top half of the first. We'll go to the bottom of the first. For the Merchants, it'll be Felder, Connors, and Freeman facing up against Adrian Santiago.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family-owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center, from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Adrian Santiago getting warmed up for the first time this season for the Gems. The big righty getting the start in the first game of the season. Santiago sporting number 17. The 6 foot, 165-pound righty calls Chicago area home. Flew in just yesterday. Oakton Community College Owl getting the start for the Gems this season. Doing the catching today for the Gems, it's Ray Soderman. Goes to college down here in the Bay Area, College of San Mateo, not too far away here from the College of Alameda, where the Merchants play. Both those schools members of the CCAA, the California Community College Athletic Association. Say that 5 times fast. And leading off for the Merchants, it'll be number 5, Alex Felder, the second baseman, hitting from the left side. And number 5, as he digs in, the Merchants in their blue tops, yellow lettering, shows bunt, pulls back, and just missing with the first pitch is Santiago. Moving quickly, and this one runs well outside. 2-0 the count on Santiago, trying to control the pace of the game. Black glove up in front of the face, fires third pitch, and again will run well outside. Soderman has to pop up and catch that one in the right-handed batter's box. Santiago takes a step off now. Try and find the strike zone here, and will be unable to do so. A 4-pitch walk to start off the game puts Felder aboard. Dakota Connors will now be hitting. The shortstop for the Merchants, Xavier Freeman, J.P. Soriano, Drew Mount, Ryan Myers, Austin Johnson, Corey Henderson, and Marcus Williams line out the batting order for the Merchants here this evening. Santiago sets just above the belt and fires fastball running again inside on the right-handed hitter, Connors. So a lot of those misses coming in that right-handed batter's box for Santiago. Brings the ball into his glove, kicks and fires, shows bunt. Now this time will be low and outside on Connors. 6 straight balls to start off the appearance, as Larry Cohart will pick up the baseball that had momentarily gotten away from Soderman. Cohart playing shortstop. He'll get a new baseball from the home plate umpire, will now. Santiago in the field for the Gems. It's Alvarado Jr. at third base, Cohart at shortstop, Wes Carswell at second base, Nelson Santiago at first. It's double play depth up the middle for the Gems. The pitch, and a near miss on the inside half of the plate. 3-0 the count. As close as Santiago has been, but not getting the call for the home plate umpire. It's a 3-0 count.
Now batting, number 24.
And this will be ball 4. So back-to-back walks. Put 2 men on. Nobody out. Xavier Freeman coming to the plate, the left fielder. Big, tall right-hander stepping into the plate against Santiago. And first pitch strike fired in. Looked like a slider from Santiago cutting across the zone on Freeman. First strike of the appearance. Still double play depth up the middle. A rip up and out of play on the first base side makes it an 0-2 count for Freeman, as Santiago seems to be calming things down. He hasn't pitched in a while. He was dealing with a bit of an injury for Oakton. They wanted to be very careful with him. The 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Going around. And strike 3. And now looking back at the Gems dugout on the first base side is Xavier Freeman taking a slow trot back to the dugout after he was called out on the check swing. Strikeout number 1. With 1 out, it'll bring up the cleanup hitter and designated hitter, J.P. Soriano. Another big righty stepping in against Santiago, with 2 runners on, both coming via 4-pitch walks. And the first pitch will be chopped up the middle. Waiting back on it is Carswell. Flips over to Cohart. Cohart to first base, not in time. They'll get Connors going to second base. Felder advances to third as Soriano reaches on the fielder's choice. Of course, this is the first game of the Gem season. the 5 games on the road. They'll head up to Sacramento tomorrow before a 3-game set against the Bighorns of Reno. But then they'll come back to Klamath Falls for their home opener on the 10th against the Atwater Aviators. You're not going to want to miss it. Drew Mount coming to the plate. Fastball way up high. It gets to the backstop. Soderman gets there, flips to Santiago. Not in time. Coming in safely from third base on the wild pitch is Alex Felder, the first run of the game. Advancing over to second base is J.P. Soriano. A 1-0 lead for the Merchants. A 1-0 count now for Mount, the right fielder, hitting from the left side. The pitch from Santiago will run inside. Nice block from Soderman as they get down and slide out to his right behind the left-handed batter's box. A 2-0 count now. Just one out. Called strike from the home plate umpire against Mount as he'll take a step out and take a deep breath before digging back in. A slight breeze blowing across the stadium as Santiago brings the ball into his glove, kicks and fires, and this one will be rolled over to Santiago at first base. Nelson Santiago, that is, for out number 3. Adrian Santiago gets into a little bit of trouble. Back-to-back walks. One comes around. It's a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the second for the Gems. It'll be Kyle Barrett, Justin Cooney-Silk, and Ray Soderman due up. You're listening to Gems Radio.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems. Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Justin Cooney-Silk coming up to the plate after Kyle Barrett ended the top of the first with a fly out to right field. The right fielder coming to the plate, hitting in the left-handed batter's box. Facing up against Blaze Hastings. Kicks and fires. First pitch, fastball missing off the outside edge. Ball 1. Hastings, like Santiago, got into a bit of trouble putting 2 guys on with free passes, but the Merchants able to work out of it as a swing and a miss on fastball inside. Got Cooney-Silk to go around. It's a 1-1 count, a 1-0 lead for the Merchants. Changeup. Just missing 2-1 the count. Now from Hastings. Like Santiago, moving at a quick clip, kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, swinging over the top of that one is Justin. A 2-2 count for the right fielder. He steps back in. Hastings glove up in front of his face, behind the back, and kicks and fires. And this one is contacted in foul territory. Marcus Williams underneath it, works its way back into fair territory as he collects it for out number 1. A pop-up which ends up in fair territory after drifting back into play. Ray Soderman, the catcher for the Gems, coming up to the plate for the first time. And the first pitch of his at-bat. Watches strike 1 fired in. Fastball, looks like he was waiting on it but wasn't sure about it and ends up checking his swing before it even starts. Fastball down low, evens the count at 1-1 on the catcher Soderman, who, as I mentioned previously, plays college ball at the College of San Mateo. And this one is softly chopped up the middle. Coming over on it is shortstop Connors, fires over to Ryan Myers for out number 2. Hit that one right in front of the plate, took a big hop, and Connor is shifting over towards the bag at second base, easily able to glove it and fire on a line to Myers for out number 2. And now it's Blaze Hastings in a bit of a rhythm here. And it'll bring up Alex Alvarado Jr., sporting number 10, and he is hit in the front shoulder, the second hit batsman of the game. Just as I say that Hastings is in a groove, he pegs a guy. And the Gems with another runner aboard via the free pass. 3 base runners aboard, no hits yet.
Now batting number 34, Lewandowski.
Zach Lewandowski hitting in the 9 hole. And called strike 1. On Zach Lewandowski. Hitting in the left-handed batter's box. Works from the front end of the box. Nice block behind the plate on Henderson as that one was bounced in by Hastings. 1-1 count, 2 outs here in the top of the second. A 1-0 lead for Alameda. Alex Alvarado Jr. at first base after he was hit by a pitch, and the first pitch he saw setting just below the belt as Hastings kicks and fires, and this one is slapped foul. Strike 2 for Lewandowski. He looks down towards third base coach Aaron Johnson. Gets the signs before stepping back in. Hastings peeks over at first and fires strike 3 swinging. Got him on the high fastball. Third strikeout of the game for Hastings. And the Gems leave another man aboard. 3 runners left on base so far in this game. We go to the bottom of the second, and for the Merchants, it'll be Myers, Johnson, and Henderson due up.
Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems. Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
After a shaky first bit of his first inning on the mound, Adrian Santiago looking to reel it in. He threw 8 straight balls before getting a 3-pitch strikeout. Xavier Freeman, unfortunately, one of those walks did come around to score. It's a 1-0 lead for the Merchants as Santiago try and settle things down just like Hastings, his counterpart on the mound for the Merchants. Santiago brings the ball into his glove up in front of his face, working from the first base side of the rubber, and will promptly hit Ryan Myers. Missing over into that right-handed batter's box side consistently is Santiago. The first hit batsman of the game for Santiago. Austin Johnson, the center fielder, coming to the plate. Soderman sets up on the outside half, and it's bounced in for a ball 1 on Johnson. Santiago working out of the stretch yet again. And fastball missing low. Ball 2. A game in which both Alvarado Sr. and Johnson would love for Santiago to eat up a lot of innings. They're still waiting on some of their pitchers to arrive from their various schools, depending on whether they're on quarter systems and their eligibility or not. So another miss inside now from Johnson, a 3-0 count. And that's a ball 4. And again, starting off the inning with back-to-back free passes to first base. He's Adrian Santiago.
Now batting number 36.
Ryan Myers moves to
Fourth,
second base. Austin
Henderson.
Johnson over to first. 3 walks on the game and 1 hit batsman for Adrian Santiago as Corey Henderson comes to the plate. First pitch misses low and inside. Nice block by Soderman behind the plate. Number 36, Henderson doing the catching today. Going without batting gloves. Kicking and firing is Santiago, the slider. Not finding the zone. 2-0 the count. Double play depth up the middle with Court and Carswell. The kick and fire from Santiago will miss low. 3-0 the count. Now Court will call time and try and have a word with his pitcher as Nick Hermes will start getting loose in the bullpen for the Gems. It's a 3-0 count as Henderson steps back in. Marcus Williams is on deck, hitting in the 9-hole. And the pitch will hit Henderson right in the back, ball 4. He was going to first base either way, but this time on the hit batsman, second hit batsman of the inning, and the bases are loaded with nobody out for the Gems, and that will send out a trip to the mound from Aaron Johnson, try and calm down Santiago, but also buy a little bit of time as Hermes is getting loose in the bullpen for the Gems. Some early jitters making their way out on the mound for Santiago, who had been excited to start this game, but perhaps after the long drive, just a little bit too tense out on the mound, being unable to control his stuff. Missing in the right-handed batter's box a lot. Both of his hit batsmen were righties and just running it to the inside of part of the plate consistently. He does have the 1 strikeout. It was a 3-pitch strikeout of Xavier Freeman, as now another hit batsman, Marcus Williams, gets tagged, and that will bring in a run. Ryan Myers scores from third base after he was the first batter to be hit. And now it's 3 hit batsmen later. The bases remain loaded. It's a 2-0 lead for the Merchants as leadoff hitter Alex Felder comes to the plate. He drew a 4-pitch walk his first time up and was able to score
Now batting number 5, Alex Felder.
on the fielder's choice, hit into by J.P. Soriano. A 2-0 lead for the Merchants. They come into this game 3-1 after splitting a pair against Healdsburg. Called strike 1. Even in the count at 1-1, still no outs, bases loaded. Here in the bottom of the second, a 2-0 lead. Santiago bounces one through the legs of Soderman, and this one will result in a run. Coming in to score easily from third base is Austin Johnson, jogging towards the plate as that had gotten away from Soderman. Had a lot of area behind home plate before you get to the backstop. And Soderman had no chance at getting to that one once it was past him. So now runners in scoring position, Henderson and Williams, as Henderson moves to third base, Williams to second base. It's a 3-0 lead as pitch runs outside on the left-handed hitting Dakota Connors. Excuse me, that was still Alex Felder at the plate. Now he moves over to first base to reload the bases on the walk. And now Alex Alvarado will make his way out to the mound. The head coach of the Gems having to go to the bullpen early as Adrian Santiago got into some trouble early, and unfortunately his appearance is over. Nick Hermes coming out to the mound for the Gems as the Gems find themselves in a hole here. The bases loaded, still no outs, and 3 runs across for the Merchants. We'll take a quick break. I'm Nick Winstead, and this is Gems Radio. It's Nick Hermes making his first appearance out on the mound, facing up against Dakota Connors after Santiago lasts 1 inning and a little bit extra of work. Started the appearance off with 8 straight balls, was able to limit the damage with only 1 run coming across after those back-to-back walks. A strikeout, a fielder's choice, and a ground out. But here in the bottom of the second, hit Batmans and walks, putting the bases loaded as the ball will be fired in by Hermes for his first pitch of the appearance. A big right-hander, Hermes, sporting number 9, and the fastball bounced just a little bit low. Soderman makes a nice block. 2-0 the count. Nick Hermes, the 6'3", 195-pound freshman from Chabot College, a gladiator, calls Pleasanton, California home. He's got a bases-loaded jam now. The kick and fire. And fastball low, 3-0 the count. Not getting any help from this home plate umpire. Our Gems pitchers thus far, and that may very well be a result of missing the zone early. That umpire is going to make you force him to make that call. And a 4-pitch walk will bring in a run. An RBI picked up by Dakota Connors on the walk. Corey Henderson coming in to score from third base, and the bases remain loaded. Marcus Williams moves to third base, Felder to second base, and Connors to first base. It's Xavier Freeman, and big changeup missing on the outside half. A ball 1. Glove up in front of the face of Hermes. Kicks and fires. Fastball high and away. Soderman gloving it on the backhand. 2-0 the count. A less than ideal start for the Gems. Kicking and firing is Hermes, and up in the air and out of play. Strike 1. Freeman giving the Gems just the second strike of the inning on that foul ball. A 2-1 count. Still nobody out in on the bottom of the second. A 4-0 lead for the Merchants. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Chasing outside is Xavier Freeman. And suddenly he's in a 2-2 count. Hermes kicks and fires. And keeping it alive is a sent to the screen that wraps around the home plate area from dugout to dugout. About a story high chain link fence, gets a little bit higher right behind home plate where the press box is located here at the College of Alameda. Kicking and firing the pitch, and softly pushed high into the air in right field. That'll go high over the head of Justin Cooney-Silk, that just kept carrying and rolling into second base. 2 runs coming across. Xavier Freeman's 2 RBI double. Just barely got that off the end of the bat, and it just kept carrying. Very lightly hit, but soared through the air over the head of Cooney-Silk in right field. Misleading, as Cooney-Silk had come a couple steps in, then realized that that one was not going to drop. Just kept carrying and carrying. Rolled all the way to the right field wall. 2 runs come across. Williams and Felder scoring. Connors moves to third base. Freeman at second base as Hermes fires it in low against J.P. Soriano, the designated hitter, who hit into a 4-6 fielder's choice. His first time up, as Carswell flipped a car trying to get out of the inning with a double play. A run did come across, the first run of the game. Hermes fastball inside, just missing a little bit low in the zone. 2-0 the count now. Kicking and firing, and chasing outside is Soriano. Strike 1. That one run across the plate. Slightly open stance for Soriano in the right-handed batter's box. White batting gloves, black bat, black batting helmet, and home plate umpire making sure that Hermes does know where that misses. Hermes did ask, where exactly did that miss? It was a slider that looked like it dropped back into the zone, but came around home plate, actually. The 3-1 pitch will be driven into the left center field gap, and that will split Lewinkowski and Barrett. And clearing the bases on the double is J.P. Soriano. Back-to-back doubles for the Merchants have exploded this game, taking advantage of all the batters put on base. Now just one left on base after the majority of this inning, really. The Merchants had the bases loaded, but back-to-back doubles, bringing in a ton of runs. An 8-0 lead. And fastball called strike one on Drew Mount as Hermes tries to shake that one off. Giving up back-to-back doubles. First one just over the head of Cooney Silk in right field. The very next batter, Soriano, splits the defense in left field, rolling all the way to the wall in left center field. And now it's an 0-2 count after a check swing from Drew Mount. The Gems still looking for their first out. Harvey's double takes back at second base and misses well outside. Soderman diving after the one to keep it from rolling to the backstop. Great glove work by the catcher, Ray Soderman. A 1-2 count on Drew Mount, who grounded out to Nelson Santiago at first base in his first at-bat. And this one will hit off of the knee pads of Soderman all the way to the backstop. And J.P. Soriano moves to third base. A 2-2 count for Drew Mount. Gems still trying to get out this nightmarish inning, looking for their first out. The pitch from Hermes. Tapped foul off of Mount. J.P. Soriano at third base, taking his lead. The infield is in for the Gems. And the pitch will be ground off the glove of Carswell. He recovers and fires to Santiago, able to knock it down right on the infield grass. Stuck with it for the second ground out of the game for Drew Mount. First out of the bottom of the second. He led things off here in the bottom of the second. He was hit by a pitch by Adrian Santiago, who started the game off for the Gems and got into trouble here in the second. Loading the bases, bringing guys in on walks and hit by pitch. And slider misses high. Ball one on Myers, the first baseman. He lifts this one high into the air into right field. Cooney Silk chasing after it, and that will drop in front of him. Tries to play it off of one hop, glances off of his glove. Coming in to score from third base is Soriano as Myers stays at first base. It's an RBI single. Austin Johnson coming to the plate for the second time this inning. He drew a 4-pitch walk after Myers was hit by a pitch. He scored the second run of the inning. Now, Nick Hermes' day is done as Aaron Johnson heads out to the mound and calls in number 30, Ben Tennell, out to the mound. Tennell had been scheduled to be a starter for the Gems, but with this game going awry early, they're going to ask him to come out and eat some innings, really, and still just one out here in the bottom of the second. We'll take a step aside. 8-0 lead for the Merchants as the Gems go to their third pitcher of the game. Welcome back to Gems Baseball. I'm Nick Winstead. We're still here in the bottom half of the second. Ben Tennell out on the mound trying to get out of this nightmarish inning for the Gems. Fastball runs across the plate, called ball one on Austin Johnson. Nick Hermes' appearance not exactly what he wanted, and strike one called for Ben Tennell on Austin Johnson. Cutting across the plate as Tennell leaning in towards the plate, getting the sign from Soderman. Glove behind his head, looks over at first base, and this one will be softly ground through the left side past the running attempt of Alex Alvarado Jr. Tried to cut it off, ended up watching it go right underneath his glove, and a single for Johnson. Myers moves to second base. Johnson gets his first hit of the day. Corey Henderson coming to the plate. He was hit by a pitch and scored earlier in the inning. An 8-0 lead for the Merchants. Up and out of play, foul on the first base side. Strike one. As Henderson steps back in, the catcher for the Merchants, leaving the bat out in front of the plate. Now brings it behind his right shoulder. Tennell fires. Fastball called strike two. 0-2 the count now. Henderson and the home plate umpire confirming things before Henderson steps back in. Henderson loads, and fastball high and away, trying to get Henderson to chase his Tennell, but he stays back. Some new baseballs brought out to the home plate umpire by second baseman Alex Felder as he jogs back to the dugout. Now a 1-2 count on Henderson. The 1-2 pitch, ground through the left side. That'll be picked up by Barrett. Strong throw to the infield will keep it from bringing in any runs, but the bases are loaded. Coart at double play depth. Otherwise, that would have been right in the wheelhouse. Ends up getting through the left side of the infield. Back-to-back singles between Alvarado and Coart. Although Alvarado Jr. had a much better shot at that first one that passed through, as Marcus Williams comes to the plate for the second time this inning. He was hit by a pitch and came in to score. The bases once again loaded here in the bottom of the second. Fastball high and away, ball two. An 8-0 lead for the Merchants in this first game of the year for the Gems. They'll take on the Sacramento Heat tomorrow in their first Golden State Collegiate Baseball League game. And this one is chopped over to second base. Coart will fire for Carswell. Playing up the middle, just a little bit off the bag was Coart, able to glove it at shortstop, but had to just go to second base to get the one out. And Marcus Williams brings in a run on the fielder's choice, a 4-6 fielder's choice. Runners on the corners, 2 outs for Alex Felder, coming to the plate for the third time this afternoon, but he's walked twice, scored 2 runs. Now a 9-0 lead. Foul tipped by Mr. Felder. Strike one. A 1-1 count for the second baseman. Ben Tennell, the third pitcher of the game for the Gems, trying to get out of this inning basically for Klamath Falls. A 9-0 lead. 8 of those 9 runs coming here in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-1 count now. 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Tennell brings the ball into his glove, back behind his head. And this one will be shot right through the legs of Wes Carswell. He flips to shortstop Coart in time. He was able to stick with it. Ended up kicking it off to his right towards second base was Carswell after initially misplaying it. but the Gems get out of the bottom of the second, a 9-0 lead for the Merchants. As we go to the third, the Gems have some work to do. It'll be Carswell, Cohort, and Santiago due up for Klamath Falls in a big hole here in Alameda.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
The second time through the order, the Gems looking for a little bit more success. Wes Carswell, first pitch swinging up and out of play, strike one. The second baseman for the Gems struck out swinging to start off the game. Back up at the plate against Blaze Hastings. Drops in. Big curveball, but missing just off the outside half. 1-1 the count. Gems looking for a big inning of their own. Trying to work back into this game. The pitch from Hastings, fastball outside, ball two. A little bit high on Carswell, which isn't all that hard to do. Carswell listed at 5'9". Might be embellishing just a bit there. The second baseman from Hartnell. And called strike two. Dropping in a big breaking ball. Here's Blaze Hastings, who's showing no ill effects after the long inning, just out there on the bench trying to cheer on his team, but also wanting to get back into a rhythm. This one is high into the air in shallow center field. Working back is Dakota Connors, sticking with it. Finally, he worked himself well into center field. Austin Johnson was right there, but Connors sticks with it for the first out, a pop out. Larry Cohort coming to the plate. He gets a round of applause from the fans here in Alameda. He's a local guy. Played his junior college baseball at Contra Costa. He lists his hometown as New Orleans, but definitely has roots here in the Bay Area as well. It's a 1-1 count after a fastball inside and a big breaking ball outside. Even the count at 1-1. Another nice pitch dropped in by Hastings. He's starting to get a little bit more feel of his secondary pitches. A 1-2 count. The pitch, fastball well inside as Cohort has to scoot back out of the way. 2-2 the count now. As Alex Thompson, the designated hitter for the Gems, will have to run out and get that one. Skirt all the way to the backstop. Fastball up high. Ball three. A full count for the Gems. And Larry Cohort, they're trying to get man aboard, get something going. The full count pitch. And strike three looking Cohort. A look of disbelief at the home plate umpire, but he picks his jaw up off the ground and heads back over towards the Gems dugout on the first base side. That is the fourth strikeout of the game for Hastings. Second looking. Cohort not agreeing with that call, and the breaking ball on the outside half. He thought he had a free trip to first base. First pitch swinging rocketed out of play is Santiago. He struck out looking as well, coming in a full count. His first time up, back in the top of the first. He's down 0-1 with 2 outs, and now he's down 0-2. A fastball up high. He swings and misses. Hastings picking up where he left off in the top of the second. Shakes off a sign from Henderson. Kicks and fires the 0-2. And Santiago stays alive, pushing it up and out of play on the third base side. The Gems will face the Heat tomorrow in Sacramento before heading up to Reno for 3 games. Before heading back to Klamath Falls. And breaking ball misses outside. Catcher Henderson was up and ready to head back to the dugout. Home plate umpire didn't like that. He calls it a ball. 1-2 the count. Henderson sets up outside. The 1-2 pitch comes way upstairs. 2-2 the count. Corey Henderson was down low and mostly in the right-handed batter's box, and that one missed well up and inside. The pitch will miss outside, so a full count now after Henderson was so sure it had been a 3-pitch see you later. The count run full by Hastings. And Santiago will try and take advantage. The payoff pitch. Ground softly over to first baseman Myers. Gets it on the backhand. Fires over to Hastings. Covering a head first slide. Not in time from Nelson Santiago. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Blaze Hastings and the Merchants. The Gems still without a hit in this one. It's a 9-0 deficit as we go to the bottom of the third in Alameda.
Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Dakota Connors coming to the plate. Slider, first pitch strike from Ben Tennell. Connors leading off the bottom of the third after a very long bottom of the second. Featured 3 Gems pitchers and 8 runs coming across for the Merchants. Pitch outside makes it a 1-1 count. As shadows beginning to make their way from the left field side onto the playing surface. The 1-1 count will be softly chopped through the left side. And another single between Coart and Alvarado Jr. Just splitting the defenders as Alvarado Jr. playing more towards the line. Coart in traditional spacing, but right through him. And it's a leadoff single for Dakota Connors. Xavier Freeman 1 for 2 on the day. Started off the big scoring for the Merchants in the bottom of the second with a double toward the right field wall. Brought in 2 runs. Check swing called strike regardless if he went around or not. Stenell working from the first base side of the rubber, but his front leg all the way on the third base side, closing off his body, disguising the pitches from the hitters. And on the appeal, Freeman not going around. 1-1 count, 1 runner aboard here in the bottom of the third. Soderman sets up on the outside half, the 1-1 pitch. Ball low. Call from the home plate umpire. A little bit of movement on that pitch from Tennell. Bentonell, the 5'10 righty, will peg Xavier Freeman up on the front shoulder. Another hit batsman for the Gems. 2 on, nobody out.
Number 55.
And we'll bring up J.P. Soriano, who's responsible for bringing in 3 runs thus far on the game, as he had a double to left center field his last time up. His first time up, a fielder's choice, brought in a run. Responsible for a third of the Merchants' runs thus far. A chance to add on to that here. Check swing. Going around the high fastball. Strike 1. Tennell leaning in. Getting the sign from Soderman. Looks back at second base as Connors with his lead. Big swing and a miss. Strike 2 from Soriano. Ends up getting a little bit off balance on that swing. Tennell brings the ball into his glove, and now time is called by Soriano. He'll take a big swing outside of the box before stepping back in. An even stance from the big righty, designated hitter. The pitch will be lined into center field. Playing it off of one hop is Lewandowski. A strong throw in will keep Dakota Connors from scoring. Good work by Lewandowski to not really give away his play out there in center field.
Number 37, Drew Mount.
Drew Mount coming to the plate with the bases loaded. Still no outs. Seems to be the formula of choice for the Merchants thus far. Had a huge second inning. Bases loaded, no outs for the majority of that one. This one ground back to the mound. Tennell gloves it, fires to home plate in time. Soderman standing firmly on the plate as Tennell had initially watched it lip off of his glove, but he stuck with it. Rolled over to the third base side, was able to barehand it and send it home to keep Connors from scoring.
Myers.
Ryan Myers coming to the plate. He had a bloop single into right field his last time up, which was his second at bat of, second plate appearance, of the bottom of the second. He was 1 for 1, an RBI single, and was hit by a pitch and scored a run. And even count now on Myers after first pitch strike from Tennell, and followed up by a slider missing just a bit low on the outside half. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. A 9-0 lead. Bases loaded for the Merchants as this one high into the air into left center field. Lewandowski running after it. He'll grab it. Tagging up and scoring from third base is Xavier Freeman. Lewandowski hitting the cutoff man Coart, keeping the runners put at second and first base respectively, but a sacrifice fly for Ryan Myers pushes the lead to double digits for the Merchants. 10-0 over the Gems. Here in their first game of the season. Austin Johnson coming to the plate. He singled through the left side. And now first pitch swinging up into the air into right field. Cooney Silk running after it. He'll play it off of one hop. Charging in from second base and scoring is Xavier Freeman. Got a good read on that one after Cooney Silk had to run way over towards the line. Got a good throw in. It's runners on the corners after the RBI single. They'll make it an 11-0 lead.
Number 36, Corey Henderson.
Corey Henderson coming to the plate. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run before singling through the left side in the bottom of the second. Slider misses low and away. High in the air on foul territory on the first base side. Santiago reaching back and gloving it for out number 3. 2 runs come across for the Merchants. It's an 11-0 lead as we go to the 4th inning of play.
Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires, and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls. They're
with an 11-0 deficit, the Gems trying to get their first hit of the evening. It'll be Alex Thompson going up to the plate. He was hit by a pitch his first time up, and he would be stranded back in the first. Hidden in the cleanup spot as he digs into the right-handed batter's box, shuffling some dirt out of the way, dragging it across with his right foot as he gets a big round of applause from the fans here in Alameda on the first base side where the Gems dugout is located. Fastball high and inside, leaning back out of the way is Thompson. Ball 1. Fastball runs outside. 2-0 the count now on Thompson. At this point, for the Gems, trying not to pay attention too much to the score, just trying to get into a rhythm, get things rolling for their next game against Sacramento tomorrow to start off conference play. And a pitcher's strike just on the inside half as Thompson none too pleased with that one. He takes a quick second out and before stepping back in, Hastings ready with the glove up in front of his face. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 the count now. Big breaking ball missing the zone. The kick and fire. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Going around on the high fastball is Alex Thompson. Alex Thompson, the catcher from Menlo College. And the 3-2 is ground over to first base side. Myers fires to the Hastings covering. A low, hard throw from the first baseman Myers. An athletic play by Hastings to be able to nab that one and step on the bag. A little bit in front of Hastings. Led him a little bit too much, but Hastings able to recover and make the play to beat out Thompson for out number 1. Back-to-back 3-1 putouts here for the Merchants defensively. Nelson Santiago grounded out in a 3-1 putout to end the top of the third. Now Alex Thompson starts things off with a 3-1 putout. A big swing and miss from Kyle Barrett. Strike 1. He flew out to right field to end the top of the first with 2 runners aboard, but went high into the air, but Drew Mount plenty of time able to track that one down. A slight breeze blowing in from center field, just a bit. The 0-1 pitch. Another big cut coming up empty for Kyle Barrett. Strike 2. One white sleeve for Barrett on his right arm. The 0-2 pitch. Up into the air, into right center field. Austin Johnson running back, and will track it down at the warning track. Lunging out at the last second, able to recover and record the out. Kyle Barrett with 2 well-hit balls today, but nothing to show for it. He squared a pair up, but just 2 outs to show for it. And Justin Cooney Silk coming to the plate. He popped out, foul on the first base side to start off the second inning. Now he's up the plate with 2 outs. He gets first pitch strike called from Hastings. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball called strike 2. An 0-2 count. Hastings going to work. The pitch up in the air into left field. Freeman will wait on it and watch it right into his glove. Out number 3. That is now 7 straight retired for Blaze Hastings and the Merchants as we go to the bottom half of the 4th. An 11-0 lead for the Merchants over the Gems.
The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union banking and finance since 1956. Living local. It's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
And it will be a number 4, Marcus Williams, coming to the plate to start off the bottom of the 4th for the Merchants. Looks like a few changes for the Gems. Looks like Keone McKee will come in for Larry Cohart at shortstop.
Now batting, number 4, Marcus Williams.
It's a 1-0 count to Williams after the first pitch missed from Tennell. He misses up high now to make it 2-0 the count. Ben Tennell came in relief in the second inning. Was initially supposed to be a starter, but has been asked to come in and try and take things over, steady the ship for the Gems here. It's now a 3-0 count to Williams, the third baseman, hitting in the 9-hole for the Merchants. And strike 1 called. Slider just catches the inside half of the plate. The 3-1 pitch called strike 2. Dropping it in again nicely is Ben Tennell. Fighting back, down 3-0 in the count to run the count full. And payoff pitch runs well outside. Ball 4. And for the 4th time in as many innings, the leadoff hitter is aboard for the Merchants. 3 out of the 4 times it came via a free pass, be it walk or hit batsman. Only Dakota Connors actually reached on a hit to lead off an inning. He would end up being thrown out at the plate. Fastball misses just a bit outside on the leadoff hitter. Number 5, Alex Felder, hitting in the left-handed batter's box. He's drawn a pair of walks and grounded out ones. Called strike 1. Nice frame job by Ray Soderman on the outside half against the lefty Felder. The 1-1 pitch will run well inside, and just getting his body out of the way is Felder, and to jump back as Tennell Trying to cut that one across the plate. Misfired. A 2-1 count. The pitch on its way. Fastball misses off the outside half. 3-1 the count now for the leadoff hitter and second baseman Alex Felder. It's an 11-0 lead for the Merchants here in the bottom of the fourth. Fastball called strike 2. Just catching the inside part of the plate. The payoff pitch. Grounder to second baseman Carswell. Charged in, tried to rear back on it. Gets into right field. Cooney Silk backs up. But before the throw can come in, racing over to third base is Marcus Williams. Took a bad hop on Carswell. Initially tried to charge in on it. But as soon as it hit something in the infield, be it a rock or just a change of territory between grass and dirt, and realized he had to rear back on that one. But before he could throw his glove up in front of it, it passed by him into right center field. Runners on the corners. Nobody out. Slider missing outside for Dakota Connors. Oh, 1-0 the count now. Ground over to third base. Alvarado tries to play it on the short hop, gets into a left field. A run comes across on the error as Alvarado Jr. indecisive on that one. Couldn't decide if he was going to charge in on it or play it back. Ended up having to try and play it back and ends up watching it go past him into left field. Kyle Barrett there quickly to back it up, but a run comes across. 12-0 lead for the Merchants as Xavier Freeman comes to the plate. Xavier Freeman, the left fielder, has struck out, doubled, and was hit by a pitch. He scored a pair of runs and driven in too as well. Big cut, strike 1. Even him up at as Bentonell leans in towards Soderman. And strike 3 swinging. Down goes Xavier Freeman, second time this evening, both times coming on the strikeout. That is Bentonell's first strikeout of the game and likewise of the season. JP Soriano comes to the plate. He is 2 for 3 with 3 runs driven in. And slider gets past Soderman, rolls to the backstop, and falling down on the base paths, but still getting up and safely in time is Dakota Connors. On his trip from first base to second base, he fell down on the base paths, but because it had gotten so far away from Soderman, no chance to make him pay for that one. He's at second base. Alex Felder at third base. Infield is in for the Gems. And called strike on the slider from Tennell. A 1-1 count on JP Soriano. Big cut, strike 2 swinging. Tennell trying to limit the damage to just 1 run here in the fourth. The strikeout situation. 2 runners in scoring position. The infield is in for the Gems. A 12-0 deficit. As Soriano will hop out, take 1 big cut outside of the box before digging back in. The 1-2 pitch. Up into the air and foul on the first base side. Working its way over towards the Gems bullpen area. Tennell, strike 3 swinging, gets JP Soriano to go around, and a slow trot back to the dugout from Soriano, taking an oblong route as he strikes out for the first time today. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tennell. That will bring up Drew Mount.
Now batting, number 31.
Excuse me, it will be number 31 as opposed to number 37. Number 31, Ty K-Ring, the righty from Indiana Tech, taking over for number 37, Drew Mount. See if he goes out into right field. Back-to-back misses on the outside half from Tennell on K-Ring. The pitch from Tennell, strike, dropping it in. It's a 2-2 count now on K-Ring. 2 runners in scoring position after back-to-back strikeouts after they'd gotten into scoring position via a couple of errors and a pass ball. This one's rocketed out of play by K-Ring. Count remains 2-2. The 1-2 pitch. Excuse me, the 2-2 pitch up and out of play as K-Ring continues to stay alive as he tightens up his batting gloves, steps back into the left-handed batting box. A 12-0 lead for the Merchants over the Gems. The pitch into center field on the dive. It'll get past Lewandowski. Running after it is Kyle Barrett. This one's going to go all the way to the warning track, clearing the bases. And perhaps a chance for a triple is K-Ring, but he stays put at second base as that one had gotten away from McKee on the relay throw from Barrett. Lewandowski, a full extension head first dive, ends up whiffing and it rolls past him. That's the danger of the dive. You might be able to make the spectacular play, but you better make sure if you can't catch it, you have to knock it down because there's nobody behind you to help out. The bases cleared on the 2 RBI double from pinch hitter Ty K-Ring. That'll bring up number 25, who's not actually listed on the Merchants roster. And that happens from time to time as teams bringing in guys from across the country don't necessarily have time to put them up on their website. It's a 1-2 count now on mysterious number 25. Man, fouled off. Count remains a hitter's favorable count. It's a pitch from Tennell, and getting sent over to first base is 25. That'll bring up
Now batting.
number
Number
3, Austin Jackson,
Johnson.
the center fielder for the Merchants, coming up with 2 runners on, 2 outs. Ball 1. It's Tennell. Got 2 strikeouts against the 3-4 hitters of the lineup for the Merchants. Gave up a double to Ty K-Ring before walking. Man up to first base, high miss, and Soderman up and out of the squat. The big 6'1" catcher Ray Soderman makes it a 2-0 count. Leaning in is Tennell. Ball into the glove behind the head of the pitcher. Snap throw over to first base will be blocked by Santiago. It was a little bit low right at the bag. Wasn't able to pick it cleanly, but more importantly kept it in front of him. Keeps the runners put. strike one call. A 3-1 count now on Austin Jackson. And ball 4 called. Checking his swing on. Pitch running just a bit off the outside half. And now Aaron Johnson making yet another trip out to the mound as Ben Tennell could very well have his appearance be finished as well. He was the third pitcher of the afternoon for the Gems, and it will be a call to the bullpen. Tennell's day is done. He heads back to the Gems dugout on the first base side. Johnson rubbing up the baseball out on the mound. Ray Soderman out there with him. The infield meeting out in front of second base. The base is loaded. And it looks like coming out of the bullpen now, number 15, it would seem Jacob Trujillo. Brought on fourth man of the game for the Gems. A 14-0 lead for the Merchants. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. We'll be right back. Number 36, Corey Henderson, coming to the plate. The base is loaded, and Jacob Trujillo out on the mound. Ben Tennell last 2 1/3 innings in his relief appearance. First pitch, strike from Trujillo. Facing up against Henderson, who will be the 9th batter sent to the plate by the Merchants this inning. Have a chance to bat around twice in 3 innings. High drive into the air into center field. Lewandowski camping out underneath it and will watch it into his glove for out number 3. Damage is done by the Merchants. Another crooked inning for Alameda as we go to the 5th inning. The Gems in desperate need of some offense.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
A 14-0 deficit for the Gems, still looking for their very first hit of the game. They have had 3 base runners, all of which coming via the free pass, a walk, and 2 hit batsmen, but they've all been stranded. Although as of late it's been Blaze Hastings dominating out on the mound. He's retired the last 7 batters for his Merchants. He's still looking sharp, but I have to wonder if perhaps these long innings being put together by his offense might eventually come back to haunt him. Just those long breaks in between his arm, going from hot to cold, hot to cold. Ray Soderman due up for the Gems as the throw goes down from his counterpart behind the plate, Corey Anderson. And that will be Ray Soderman coming to the plate now after some trouble with the public address system. He pops this one up and out of play behind home plate, strike 1. We did finally track down who number 25 was. That was Peter Hendron. This one is fouled back to the backstop. Hendron, the senior from Santa Clara, the Santa Clara Bronco. As this one is up into the air into right field, and that will fall right in front of right fielder number 4, Marcus Williams. Looks like they've shifted him from third base to right field to make room for Hendron. And the first hit of the game comes from Ray Soderman, hitting in the 7-hole to lead things off here in the 5th. Number 22, Colin Sinkovich, will be coming in place of Alvarado Jr., who was hit by a pitch in his 1 plate appearance. He would be left aboard. He goes around on the high fastball. Strike 1. Sinkovich hitting from the right side, hits from the front end of the plate. And this one will be slapped over the head of the first baseman. Fair ball down the first base line into the corner. Being sent from first base all the way home is the catcher, Soderman. The throw will not be in time. It's a triple for Colin Sinkovich, his first at-bat of the year with the Gems. He drives in a run all the way to the right field corner. A triple for Colin Sinkovich puts the Gems on the board, breaking up the shutout after Ray Soderman had broken up the no-hitter. Now, Zach Lewandowski's spot coming up, hitting in the 9-hole. He struck out swinging in his only plate appearance thus far back in the 2nd. He sees first pitch called strike after the Sinkovich triple. Trying to breathe some life back into the Gems despite the huge deficit. Setting below the belt is Hastings, firing over the top. This one's pushed up and out of play on the third base side by Lewandowski. Ball outside. 1-2 the count now. This one ground up the middle off the feet of Hastings. Played nicely by the second baseman Felder as he stays with it for the out. And that will be an RBI ground out for Zach Lewandowski. Hit so hard up the middle off of Hastings. He tried to jump out of the way, ended up hitting off of his shins, rolling over to Felder at second base, who stuck with it and fired over to Myers for out number 1. Wes Carswell, the second baseman, 0 for 2, looking for his first hit of the game. It is now a 15-2 lead for the Merchants. First pitch breaking ball dropped in for strike 1. Fastball low, evens the count at 1. 1-1 count, 1 out, 2 runs across in the top half of the 5th for the Gems. High fastball going around and readjusting his batting helmet after the miss is Carswell. Took a big hack at that one. Comes up empty. Hastings waiting patiently out on the mound. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball high and outside. 2-2 the count now as Carswell struck out, swinging his first time up, trying to avoid the same fate. The 2-2 will have to wait as Hastings takes the ball out of his glove now, puts it back in, back behind the head, the 2-2 pitch. Missing well inside on the curveball. 3-2 the count now as run the count full against the leadoff hitter Carswell. Wesley Carswell, the Hartnell College Panther, will be rung up looking, going around the horn after Carswell had already tossed his bat. He thought he was getting a free trip over to first base, but on his way over, the home plate umpire rings him up. We've seen this home plate umpire wait a little bit long and then see some hitters be perhaps reprimanded for their early assumptions as Coart's replacement in the 2 spot. Keon McKee, number 4, coming up to the plate for the first time. He takes a big swing his first time up and then pops one up and out of play. And the second swing he sees, he's down 0-2. And this one runs well outside. McKee stays off that one easy. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball upstairs. 2-2 the count now on McKee. Came in replacement of Coart, who went 0 for 1 with a walk where he would be stranded at second base and a strikeout looking that he was none too pleased about. A 3-2 count now after fastball misses low and away. Henderson, the nice effort to try and frame that one, but there's no fooling the home plate umpire. That was well outside. The full count pitch. Strike 3 looking, and back-to-back strikeouts looking get Mr. Hastings out of the top of the 5th after 2 runs come across for the Gems. Ray Soderman singles and scores on Colin Sinkovich's triple, who was brought in by Zach Lewandowski. It is a 15-2 lead for the Merchants as we go to the bottom half of the 5th here in Alameda.
Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems. Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls, their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Marcus Williams coming to the plate. The now right fielder started the game at third base, will be leading off the bottom half of the 5th. Trujillo misses way outside on the fastball on the right-handed hitting Marcus Williams, who is 0 for 1 today with a hit by pitch, scored a run, and a walk scoring a run. It's now 2-0 on Williams, hitting in the 9-hole. A 15-2 advantage for the Merchants in the Gems' first game of the season. Things got out of hand early. Adrian Santiago making his first start on the year. Had 8 straight balls in the first inning, was able to come back and only give up 1 run in that first inning, and as a 4-pitch walk is issued to Marcus Williams to lead off the bottom of the 5th. But it was really the second inning that things went awry for the Gems.
Number 7.
Santiago,
Moises.
Hermes, Antonell all had to combine to end that inning. 3 pitchers in which the Merchants scored 8 runs. They batted around. And we'll bring up now a pinch hitter, number 7. Moises Lopez coming to the plate, taking over for Alex Felder in the leadoff spot. Called strike 2 on Lopez. And Trujillo trying to work back after that 4-pitch free pass to Marcus Williams. He's at first base. Santiago covering the bag. We haven't seen a throw over today. Big swing and a miss. Strike 3. Jacob Trujillo gets his first strikeout of the year. 1 out, 1 on for number 2, Dakota Connors.
Dakota Connors.
Who is 1 for 2 today. He's reached on a pair of walks and an error. Got an RBI on one of his walks. The base is loaded. Fastball high and outside. Ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball called strike on the outside half against the right-handed hitting Connors. And called strike 2 on Connors as he watched that one dropped in by the lefty Trujillo, the lone lefty on the staff for the Gems so far. See if they might add another lefty in. See somebody come from the field. A couple guys who throw left might get a chance out on the mound as they have tried to see what their various position players have, as they are missing a handful of pitchers waiting for them to come in from their schools across the region. Fastball low and inside. It's a 2-2 count on Dakota Connors. 1 out, 1 on in the bottom of the 5th. The 2-2 pitch. Slapped high into the air. Racing in and sliding and not being able to make the catches. Kyle Barrett in shallow left center field. All 3 fielders, Barrett, McKee, and Lewandowski, converging. Barrett took over on the slide, ends up hitting off of his body into fair territory. Outstanding effort. A fair ball, I should say, well in fair territory.
Now batting, number 24,
Xavier Freeman, the left fielder who struck out, swinging on a pair of back-to-back strikeouts for Bentonell before he would end up giving up a double, as this one is rolled over to McKee, to Carswell, to Santiago for an inning-ending double play. Easy work there for the infield, as Trujillo has looked sharp in his 2 innings of work for the Gems. It's a 15-2 deficit for the Gems, and that is the first time this evening that the Merchants haven't scored in an inning. We go to the 6th here in Alameda.
The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Blaze Hastings' day is done out on the mound for the Merchants. He finishes the evening with 5 innings strong. After a little bit of a shaky start, he struck out one, ended up getting 2 guys aboard before getting out of the first, but then after that, smooth sailing for the big right-hander for the Merchants. In his last inning of work, he did give up his first 2 hits of the game, a single to Ray Soderman into right field, and then a triple down the right field line for Colin Sinkovich for a 1-4-3 ground out, brought in a run.
Now batting.
Lewandowski pinballing it off of infielders, allowing Sinkovich to score. Nelson Santiago will lead things off in the top half of the 6th against the new man out on the mound, James McReynolds, number 35 for the Merchants. McReynolds, the righty from Indiana Tech. First pitch fastball outside on the lefty Santiago. Santiago 0 for 2, a strikeout looking and a ground out to first base. Big cut coming up empty. Strike 1. Working the fastball right by him is McReynolds. Works from the first base side of the rubber. Big kick. Sidearm delivery ends up rolling that one right through the legs of Corey Henderson. A 2-1 count now for Santiago. The pitch coming up empty on the swing yet again is Santiago, is chasing a little bit outside. Now a 2-2 count. Lead off top of the 6th. A 15-2 lead for the Merchants. Time is called by Nelson Santiago. He'll step right back in. Had to rub something off of his nose, maybe just a little bit of an itch. The 2-2 pitch sent back into the fence. Right behind home plate. Remains a 2-2 count. McReynolds gets the go to play from the home plate umpire and just misses a fastball off the outside edge. Full count now for Nelson Santiago. Santiago, a big power hitting first baseman for the Gems, trying to unleash some of that here. The payoff pitch will run well inside. Ball 4. Santiago had to look back at the home plate umpire to make sure that actually was ball 4 because the Gems have been burned on a couple of pitches they thought were ball 4. Free chips over to first base ended up being strikeout looking, so Santiago takes the safe path and waits a beat before he goes over to first base. First walk in the first batter face for James McReynolds. There was a nice battle between he and Santiago. Big swing on the high pitch from Thompson. They've seen him swing at those earlier in the game. They're going right back to it. Strike 1. Thompson is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. He got to a 3-2 count before grounding out to first baseman Myers, with then pitcher Hastings covering. Called strike 2 on Thompson. Now down 0-2. 1 out, 1 on here in the top of the 6th in Alameda, as the shade from the trees over on the third base side has made its way right in front of the pitcher's mound. Late timeout call granted by the home plate umpire to Alex Thompson. The pitch comes home anyways. It was too late for McReynolds to stop his motion. Just a bit of a light still in front of home plate, so ball moving from shadows to light. And strikeout 3 down in the dirt. Thompson chases. That is the now 8th strikeout on the game for Merchants pitchers. First for McReynolds. Number 29, Hector Hernandez will come in for Kyle Barrett, hitting in the 5-hole. First pitch up and a ball on Hernandez. Hernandez, the Modesto Junior College Pirate, swings on a pitch outside, chasing that one, even the count at 1. As Nelson Santiago takes his lead over at first base. Not much of a lead with Ryan Myers covering the bag. Another big cut from Hernandez comes up empty. Strike two. Hernandez very close together in legs for his batting stance as he goes down. Strike three, swinging one in the dirt. He gets chasing back-to-back batters, does James McReynolds.
Now batting, number 6.
That will bring up Marzell Brown, the Southern Washington commit. He calls Salem Morgan home, the 5'9", 170-pound incoming freshman, the guy who loved to get on the base paths in order to use his speed. That's his big attribute as he tips one into the glove of Anderson. Strike one. And again, tipping it, this time just in front of home plate after it had initially hit the catcher Henderson. So now an 0-2 count for Marzell Brown and a chance for James McReynolds to strike out the side after giving up a first batter walk to Nelson Santiago. He's still at first base, hasn't been able to be moved over. The 0-2 pitch, trying to get him to chase. Brown stays off as that was a pitch low and away. Nice job by Henderson to keep that one from going to the backstop. He slides out over to his right behind the left-handed batter's box and is able to glove it and get it back out quickly to McReynolds. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on in the dirt. Henderson collects it, fires to first base in time, and striking out the sign is James McReynolds with a little bit of help from Henderson and Myers to complete that last strikeout. The Gems strand Nelson Santiago at first base. It remains a 15-2 ball game here in Alameda. We're going to the bottom half of the sixth. Due up for the Merchants, it's Freeman, Soriano, and K-Rig.
Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald & News, and Henry's Roofing & Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Jamison Nieto taking over for Xavier Freeman's spot. Nieto, big guy in the right-handed batter's box, sporting number 45, a 1-1 count now. Trying to get some guys, some ABs here early on in the season. Fastball up high and going around is Nieto, strike two. Jersey untucked in the back for Nieto after that big swing. Fastball missed in the dirt on the swing, but completing the strikeout is Soderman to Santiago. That will be the second strikeout of the game for Jacob Trujillo. You got Moises Lopez back in the bottom of the fifth, and now gets Nieto to start off the bottom of the sixth.
Ty Coring.
Now coming to the plate, number 31. Pitch called strike, taking over for J.P. Soriano. And this one is taking on a high hop at second base by Wes Carswell. And retiring, Ty Kahrig. For out number 2, the 4-3 put out. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up number 25, Peter Hendren, who was a mysterious batter early on when we couldn't quite track down his information. He'd just been added to their roster today as he sees first pitch strike from Trujillo.
Now batting number 25, Eli Hendron.
It's a 1-1 count. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. The 15-2 lead for the Merchants as fastball runs outside. 2-1 the count. Trujillo working from the first base side of the rubber ball. His front foot is more towards the third base side. Now he closes off his body, kicks and fires. Strike 2, taking a big swing. Coming up empty is Hendren. And this low makes it a full count, a 3-2 count, 2 outs after a strikeout and a ground out to second base. A chance for the first time this evening for a 1-2-3 inning. The 3-2 pitch will be ground over to shortstop. Takes a bad hop, but sticking with it is McKee. McKee, strong throw over to Santiago for out number 3. And that will be the end of the 6th. And for the first time this evening, neither team scores in an inning. We go to the 7th, a 15-2 deficit for the Gems due up for Klamath Falls. It's Soderman, Sinkovich, and Lewandowski. Ray Soderman coming to the plate for the 3rd time this evening. His first time up, he grounded out to shortstop Dakota Connors, but his last time up, he actually broke up the ongoing no-hitter being put together by Blaze Hastings, and he would come around to score the first run of the game for the Gems. Slider cuts across the plate for a called strike 1. As James McReynolds enters his 2nd inning of work, taking over for Hastings after his 5-inning appearance. And Soderman goes around swinging on pitch low. 0-2 the count now for the catcher. Works from the back end of the right-handed batter's box. Big 6'1" catcher, mostly upright in his stance while waiting for McReynolds. Now he crouches down just a little bit as the pitch runs well outside and low. A 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball called on the outside half. 2-2 the count now for Soderman. And the on-deck circle is Colin Sinkovich, who has the only extra base hit of the game for the Gems. One of just 2 hits total for the Gems. Strike 3 swing, and it'll go all the way to the backstop. Henderson back to the wall, and by the time he gets there, Ray Soderman reaches safely at first base on the strikeout. The fourth strikeout of the appearance for McReynolds, but Ray Soderman is aboard safely. Both of the times he's led off in this game for the Gems as Colin Sinkovich comes to the plate. Slider low and away. Running across the plate, but just too low on Sinkovich, who had that triple down the right field line just on the line. First baseman Myers was trying to indicate that that was foul, and he got that one as this one's rolled over to the hole on the right side. Alex Fielder runs it down and fires over to first base in time as Sinkovich is retired for the first time this evening. Moving over on the ground out is Soderman. He moves to second base with one out as Zach Lewandowski comes to the plate for the third time this evening. His last time up, Sinkovich was at third base after his triple, and he hit one right back up the middle off of Hastings. Ended up going over towards the right side. Felder, the second baseman, played it nicely. He lays a bunt back up the middle, and McReynolds gloves it, fires over to first base in time. Trying to use his speed to beat it out, but bunted a little bit too hard and not enough down the third base line. As an easy play for McReynolds despite the speed of Lewandowski. Sinkovich does move over to third base. Wes Carswell comes to the plate, 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, one looking, one swinging thus far. His last one came on a full count. He was sure he had a trip down to first base. He had thrown his bat over towards the Gems dugout, and all of a sudden he gets rung up. That's happened several times this evening, and with this home plate umpire for both squads, he sees first pitch strike called from home plate umpire. James McReynolds continues to pound the zone. The 15-2 lead helping him out as he gets another called strike, this one off the outside half. An 0-2 count now. 2 outs, runner at third base. Big grounder up the middle. Connors waits on it at shortstop. Low throw, but picked cleanly at first base by Myers. And the Gems will strand yet another out on the base paths, and their limited chances, they haven't been able to take advantage. It's a 15-2 lead for the Merchants as we go to the bottom half of the seventh.
Klamath Falls Baseball is brought to you with help from Rogue Credit Union. Rogue Credit Union is committed to actively engaging in the communities we serve. Rogue Credit Union, banking and finance since 1956. Living local, it's a Rogue thing. And Quail Park of Klamath Falls, a senior lifestyle community in Klamath Falls. Their experienced and caring team of healthcare professionals will treat you and your loved ones like they would treat their own families. Thank you for supporting the Klamath Falls Gems.
Austin Johnson coming to the plate. Strike one called as Brian Hathaway enters the game. His first appearance on the year, the big righty for the Gems. A true sidearm thrower. Drops in strike two, comes way outside, almost completely straight arm all the way out on his right side. He's a huge guy, 6'6", so that's coming from way over on the third base side against a right-hander. And swing and a miss, strike 3. Down goes Austin Johnson on 3 pitches. Corey Henderson coming to the plate, the catcher for the Merchants, coming to the plate for the 5th time in this game. He sees first pitch strike from Hathaway. That's 4 straight strikes for the big righty.
Corey Henderson.
This one will hit off of Henderson. That one got away from Hathaway after his 3-pitch see you later on Johnson. He ends up tagging Henderson.
Now batting, number 4,
Marcus Williams coming to the plate. He is 0 for 1 today with a fielder's choice, but he's been hit by a pitch and drew a pair of walks. Has brought in a run on that fielder's choice and scored 2 runs on his 3 times on base via the free pass. It's an 0-1 count. Another righty matchup for Hathaway as this one misses way upstairs. A 1-1 the count. Double play depth up the middle for the Gems. Slight breeze blowing across from left to right. Big chopper up to the second baseman Carswell. He'll have to go to first base as it got caught in his glove. 4-3 put out instead of going to second base where shortstop McKee was standing. Just got caught in his glove and
number 7,
wisely realized that it's much better to just go to first base instead of try and beat out the speed of Henderson, who got a good jump on that one. It's such a big hop on the infield. Cutting across the plate, for strike 1 is the pitch from Hathaway on Moises Lopez, who struck out against Trujillo, who had a nice appearance for the Gems. The back end of his bullpen doing nicely after a rough start, and no other way to put it. 11 runs coming in the first 3 innings, 8 of which in the bottom of the second. A huge inning for the Merchants. They took advantage after a lot of free passes as a pitch misses well outside and rims off the glove of Soderman, makes its way almost over towards the Gems dugout. So a free pass from Henderson over to third base, 2 outs. The 1-2 count for Lopez. Hathaway trying to keep it at a 13-run deficit for the Gems. And ball missing on that delivery that comes right in on right-handers. Not very hard from Hathaway, but very good accuracy, and it's very deceiving. The 2-2 will be shot over to shortstop McKee. Gloves it on the backhand. A long throw, jumping and tagging out. Lopez is Santiago. Had to come off the bag to glove it, but made a nice recovery. And Hathaway puts up a scoreless inning of work with a strikeout and some nice work by his defense behind him. We go to the 8th inning, a 15-2 lead for the Merchants here in Alameda.
The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much. Taco Bell is proud to support the Klamath Falls Gems. Don't forget to take advantage of the free taco coupon on the back of your Klamath Falls Gems ticket stub. Everyone who comes out to a Klamath Falls Gems game this year can receive a free taco at one of Taco Bell's 2 locations in Klamath Falls. Once again, we'd like to thank Taco Bell for all their support of the Klamath Falls Gems.
Keon McKee at the plate to lead things off. He sees first pitch strike in the top of the 8th. Still James McReynolds out there. Checks his swing, holds off on a ball outside. 1-1 the count. As shadows continue to creep their way in from the third base side, where San Francisco is located if you keep going far enough. We've got a great view of Oakland from here. You can see the Oakland Tribune over in left field, Jack London Square. And a 2-1 count. The pitch will be rocketed past the dive of Dakota Connors at shortstop. The first hit of the year for Keon McKee. Got solid lumber on that one to lead things off in the 8th. Get himself aboard for Nelson Santiago, who is looking for his first hit.
Nelson Santiago.
He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout looking a ground out, but he did reach on a walk back in the 6th. He would be stranded there. He calls for time as he looks at the sign given out by third base coach Aaron Johnson. McReynolds leaning in, taking his lead. McKee, he runs and taking a long time to unload it. That'll get into center field, but staying put on the bag is McKee. He got a great jump, and Henderson lost it in the glove. He kept looking for it. We got a great view of that up in the press box. He still threw it down. Probably not the best decision, as McKee got a great jump and has good speed. Ended up not hurting the Merchants, even though it was not only a late throw and got into center field. A stolen base for McKee, the first of the year for the Gems. And this one is sent back into the fence. Strike 1. It was a good pitch to throw on for Henderson as a fastball up. Easy pop to unload and fire, but he just couldn't locate it in the glove. So McKee's in scoring position. The 1-1 pitch runs outside, 2-1 the count. And a little bit of a curveball, and didn't curve quite enough. Shortstop Connors shading behind McKee out at second base. Now he backs off. Swung on, tapped into the glove of Henderson. Strike 2. And Santiago's trying so desperately to unleash that power that we've seen in batting practice up in Klamath Falls at Kiger Stadium. He was crushing them over the right field wall in the first BP and hit him off the wall in the second round. This one is ground over to first baseman Freeman as he'll high flip, and it'll go over the head of McReynolds. Tried to do it too quickly as Freeman had gotten there and just off the right field grass. And high underhand throw, and even the big McReynolds wasn't able to jump up and glove that one. So an error on the first baseman Freeman allows Santiago aboard for the second time in as many appearances. McKee moves over to third base as he wisely stayed put. Alex Thompson comes to the plate, a chance to drive in a run.
31, Alex Thompson.
Thompson 0 for 2 today. He was hit by a pitch his first time up in an 0-1 count. Now he's got a chance to bring in a run here in his cleanup spot, as well as being the designated hitter. And guy with a lot of power has not had an opportunity to show it off. He sees first pitch strike called on him. Is that one a nice response pitch from McReynolds after that error? And this one is shot foul right towards the Gems dugout. People flying out of the way. It ends up hitting off the base of the fence, but guys moving out of the way nonetheless, as that one was lasered over there. Strike 2. An 0-2 count for Thompson. Runners on the corners. No outs here in the top of the 8th. A 15-2 lead for the Merchants. Now Thompson will call time as McReynolds was leaning in just a little bit too long for Thompson's liking. Thompson ready now. The pitch. And a good take from Thompson. Ball 1, just a little bit low. His last time up, Thompson facing up against McReynolds, chased down in the dirt to strike out. They'll go down in the dirt again, and Thompson will again watch that one miss. Ball 2, a 2-2 count. Runners on the corners. It's Keon McKee at third base after he was able to sneak one past the dive of shortstop Connors, steal second base, and advance to third on the error from first baseman Myers. It could pass Freeman at first base, coming in from third base, and falling down but diving back into the bag safely is Santiago at second base. It's an RBI single for Alex Thompson, his first RBI of the year, coming on his first hit of the year, as he pushed that one through the right side, as Freeman was covering the bag at first base, couldn't get over in time, and with double play depth up the middle, Felder had no shot at that one. 2 runners on, still no outs, as number 26, Nolan Legan, coming to the plate, the 5'11", 225-pounder from Modesto Junior College, the redshirt freshman for the Pirates. He watches first pitch run outside, ball 1. Taking over for Hernandez, who got 1 AB, replacement of Kyle Barrett. And checking his swing, but watching a called strike fired in from McReynolds. A 1-1 count. And the 1-1 pitch shot over through the right side. Dive from Felder, and it'll get underneath his body into right field. And aboard safely is Legan, his first hit of the year. Back-to-back singles on the right side. This one an infield hit from Legan, able to leg that one out. Now a trip out to the mound from Henderson. Looks like that'll be joined by an assistant coach for the Merchants, with the bases loaded, and Isaiah Engman, the pinch hitter, coming up to the plate. We'll take a look around the base paths, give you an update. It's Nelson Santiago at third base, Alex Thompson at second base, and Legan at first base after Keon McKee was able to get aboard and score and make it a 3-15 lead for the Merchants, as the Warriors score is announced here at the College of Alameda. The Warriors defeating the Cavaliers quite handily, going up 2-0 in the series. Now it'll transition back to Cleveland, where the Cavs will try and fight back into it against the Warriors team that has the best regular season record of all time, 79-3. That final coming out of Oracle, just down the road, 110-77, a thrashing of the Cavs by the hand of the Dubs. First pitch strike on Isaiah Engman. The bases loaded, 1 out. Engman watches called strike 2 running off that outside half. An 0-2 count now for the pinch hitter Engman. The pitch, he chopped foul down the third base side. A sea of hands come out from the Merchants dugout, but it'll be Aaron Johnson, the third base coach for the Gems, having to track that one down. Klamath Falls will head up to Sacramento tomorrow to take on the Heat before heading up to Reno for a 3-game set against the Bighorns before returning back up to Klamath Falls. And this one shot right into the glove of the third baseman, Henron, going to second base and getting caught on the base paths at first base. They had a time to go around the horn before Nolan Legan could get back to the bag. Took a big jump on that one and ends up paying for it in a double play. L5, and then a throw from third baseman Henron to Lopez, taking over at second base. Thrown over to first baseman Freeman, tags out Nolan Legan. Ray Soderman, the catcher, and a ball 1. 2 runners in scoring position, a 15-3 lead for Alameda. Slider low and away on ball 2. Long look in from McReynolds to Henderson. And off the end of the bat to the first baseman, Freeman. Underhands much more cleanly this time over to McReynolds, covering for the out. 1 run does come across for the Gems, makes it a 15-3 deficit as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires and Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Brian Hathaway back out to work for the Gems. He ended up stranding a man at third base. It was Corey Anderson who he hit with a pitch up 0-1 in the count after a 1-2-3 strikeout of Austin Jackson. Then he got a pair of ground outs to get himself out of the jam. He'll be throwing down to Ray Soderman, who just came back out of the dugout, had to reapply all of his gear after being the last out of the top half of the 8th. The Gems were able to tack on one more as Soderman gets one pitch to throw down before he has to go back down in the squat. Number 23 coming up, pinch hitting for the Merchants, taking over for Dakota Connors. '23 not actually listed on the lineup card, so that's interesting. If this was a close game, the Gems might think about protesting, but given it's a 15-3 advantage, no harm, no foul. The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 looking, down goes number 23. The second strikeout of the appearance for Brian Hathaway.
24, Xavier Freeman.
Xavier Freeman coming up to the plate. Strike 1 called as Hathaway continues to look sharp out on the mound. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets a strikeout looking, and then a 1-2-3 see you later from Xavier Freeman, who has struck out 4 times. I do believe that is a golden sombrero.
Jameson.
And now Xavier Freeman yelling at someone out in the Gems defense to look at the scoreboard as he walked back to the dugout, but 4 strikeouts. That'll do that to you. And dropping in strike 2 on Nieto is Hathaway, who continues to pound the zone here. He can strike out the side here. And now Nieto will go and talk with the third base coach of the Merchants. A 15-3 advantage for Alameda over Klamath Falls, and really all the damage done in the first 3 frames. An 11-0 lead opened up by the end of the third. And a long talk between the third base coach and Nieto finally over as he strolls back towards the right-handed batter's box. This one fouled down the first base line. Remains an 0-2 count. Alex Alvarado Jr. will jog out and track that one down. Sun's starting to set over in the Pacific Ocean. We can see the lights glimmering off of all the buildings over in the Oakland Hills as Nieto swings on a high fastball way out of the zone. Strike 3, and Hathaway strikes out the side. Gets Connors looking, Freeman chasing, and Nieto chasing as well. We go to the to the top of the 9th. And the Gems will try and extend this game just a little bit longer, in so much as 3 outs, as they've got a 12-run deficit staring them in the face, 15-3. And leading off the top of the 9th for the Klamath Falls Gems, number 22, Colin Sinkovich. Sinkovich has a triple and a run driven in. He'll go along with a ground out. He sees first pitch looking as Marcus Williams has played infield, starting the game at third base, outfield, moving to right field, and is now out on the mound. As the lights come on here at the College of Alameda, as darkness has overtaken the entire field, although still lots of residual light. Best to get the lights on early, not have to worry about it. It's a 1-1 count after a miss inside. The 1-1 pitch from Williams, driven right up the middle. A line drive will be run down deep in center field by Dakota Connors on the soft line drive, but by the time that Connors got to it and spun around, Sinkovich had run well through the bag. Great speed displayed by the shortstop, but a single nonetheless for Sinkovich, now 2 for 3. That'll bring up Zach Lewandowski, the center fielder for the Gems, looking for his first hit of the day. Runner goes, a strong throw down, and in time, being gunned out on the base paths is Sinkovich. This time Henderson was able to locate the ball quickly and fire it down to second base in time when McKee had his steal, the first stolen base attempt by the Gems. He wasn't able to locate that ball really quickly enough. Miss outside on the lefty Lewandowski. Chopped foul down the first base side, heads over into the Gems dugout. As Lewandowski will tighten up his batting gloves. It's a 1-2 count. 1 out in The top of the ninth, a 15-3 lead for the Merchants. And a safety swing by Lewandowski stays alive as he just left the bat head out over the plate for as long as possible to stay in contact with that one. Jacob Trujillo runs that one down. And again, a safety swing. This one stays in fair territory. First baseman Freeman gloves it, fires over to Williams, covering the bag for out number 2. And just like that, the Gems down to their last out in a game that has been unfortunately decided for quite a while after opening up that double-digit lead in the first 3 frames. The Merchants pitcher is able to attack the zone with essentially reckless abandon. The first pitch to Wes Carswell will be hit foul down the third base side, make its way into the very end of the dugout of the Merchants on the third base side. Kicking and firing the 0-1. High drive into center field. Moving back is Johnson, and it will be out of his reach. Plays it on one hop off of the warning track, and Carswell strolling into second base with a double. Johnson was playing so far in that even with his speed, he wasn't able to get that one as it just continued to carry out into the night. Wes Carswell has his first hit of the day, the second extra base hit of the evening for the Gems. Colin Sinkovich getting the first. That will bring up number 4, Keon McKee. Fastball, strike one called on McKee, who scored a run in the 8th when he was able to sneak one past the dive of shortstop Connors. Well hit, but in good positioning was the shortstop Big Chopper over to the third baseman Hendron. Strong throw for out number 3, and that will bring the game to an end. A 15-3 victory for the Merchants over the Gems. The Gems dropped their first game of the season. The Merchants improved to 4-1 on the year. We'll have a quick post-game show coming right up after these messages.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Holiday Jewelry, family-owned since 1975, setting the standard for quality and service in Klamath Falls community since the beginning. And Klamath Eye Center, your complete eye care center from comprehensive eye exams to surgery and even our optical dispensary. Without these sponsors, nothing is possible. Thank you. The Klamath Falls Gems would like to send their thanks to Russ, Spires & Pooley, LLP, Avista, Herald and News, and Henry's Roofing and Supply for sponsoring the 2016 season. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Klamath Falls Gems post-game show, presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis and Fitness Club, Henry's Roofing and Supply, Herald and News, Holiday Jewelry, Klamath Eye Center, the Oregon State Lottery, Quail Park of Klamath Falls, Rogue Credit Union, Rust, Spires and Pulley LLP, Taco Bell, Super 8, and United Finance. Here's your host, Nick Winstead.
Hello and welcome into the post-game show. The Gems with this rough first one here on the road against Alameda. A 15-3 thrashing at the hands of the Merchants. No other way to put it. The Gems just couldn't overcome their early pitching woes. Adrian Santiago made the start, looked a little bit shaky to begin, 8 straight balls, but was able to get out of that first inning. Only 1 run coming across, but everything came tumbling down in the second. 8 runs come across. 3 pitchers have to come in for the Gems to try and get out of that one. Finally, Ben Tennell is able to work his way out of the second inning. 8 runs coming across. 2 more come across for the Merchants in the second before 3 added on in the fourth. That would be the end of the scoring for the Merchants, as the Gems were able to put 3 runs on the board, highlighted by Ray Soderman's single, which broke up a then no-hitter being put together by Blaze Hastings. He singled to lead off the top of the 5th down the right field line, but Colin Sinkovich tripled down the right field line, hitting it right off of the chalk down the right field line, and ended up rolling all the way into the corner, and Sinkovich able to use his speed to end up at third base. He would be brought in by a Zach Lewandowski ground out that he hit very hard, but right off of pitcher Blaze Hastings and to the second baseman, then Alex Fielder. A lot of defensive changes in this game for both teams, as the disparity between the two teams in run differential allowing for both teams to try out different combinations, get some guys some at-bats who might not necessarily get them at this particular juncture. You'd want to try and find your right flow early on in this season, and which was something I actually talked about with Coach Alvarado early on in his stint with the Gems in his coaching career. Just one game in, we talked about it in the pregame. He's trying to find that right groove, which means maybe messing around with lineups in the game. He probably didn't expect it to be in this sort of manner where you're kind of free to do whatever you want, but for all the wrong reasons. The Gems would tack on one more run in the 8th when Keon McKee singled through the left side, stole a base, and would come in on Alex Thompson's RBI single up the middle. Thompson's first hit of the year, bringing in McKee from third base. The Gems with a couple of highlights out on the mound in the back end of this game. Jacob Trujillo and Brian Hathaway both look sharp, coming in essentially no pressure situations, since the lead was such that can't really make it any worse. But that's not to say that these guys weren't trying their hardest. But in a situation like that, you know that the game isn't on the line, so it allows you to be a little bit more freer with your pitches and get into a groove early. And Hathaway struck out his last 3 batters seen in perfect 1-2-3 inning with strikeouts in the 8th. Trujillo came in and steadied the ship for the Gems, as the Merchants were held scoreless from the 5th out on. Of course, they didn't need to score the runs, but a good sign nonetheless for the Gems bullpen going forward. You can rely on some of these guys in the closer games. They've already got some of that experience moving forward. They will move up onward to Sacramento, try and put this loss behind them. The Gems moving into Golden State Collegiate Baseball League conference play. They will be taking on the Sacramento Heat tomorrow. That's a 12 o'clock first pitch that has been moved up, so make sure you act accordingly to be able to catch that one right here on YouTube. I'm Nick Winstead. The Gems fall in their first game of the year to the Alameda Merchants, 15-3. Thanks so much for listening to this broadcast of Gems Baseball.
Presented by Avista, Harbor Isle Tennis.